Let's explore rate limiting on the TrueFoundry AI gateway through a quick demo. You might be wondering what exactly is rate limiting. Rate limiting is used to control usage of models and set limits based on how frequently users, teams, or applications can actually call the model APIs. It is an important feature for a lot of scenarios while managing LLM workloads, and that is why it's really useful. First, you can control cost per developer, team, or application. It's really easy to blow up cost in LLMs because of a bug in the code somewhere or an agent is stuck in an infinite loop. Hence, a good safety measure is to limit the cost per developer so that you do not incur such costly mistakes. Then think about self-hosted LLMs that companies often deploy on their own GPUs, which can be on-prem or cloud. If there is a sudden surge in traffic and there are not enough GPUs left to serve the requests on your on-prem GPUs, you might want to burst to the cloud. In this case, to avoid overwhelming the on-prem GPUs, it's a good practice to set rate limits for the on-prem LLMs. One more scenario is rate limiting your customers based on their tier. Many products have different tiers of customers, each with a different limit on LLM usage. This can be directly modeled using a rate limit configuration wherein you can set a limit per customer. This is easily enabled using the custom metadata feature on the TrueFoundry AI gateway. You can rate limit requests at a token or a request level across different frequency intervals like minutes, hours, or days for a certain number. Keep in mind that every request is evaluated against the set of rules starting from the top one, and only the first matching rule is applied. Subsequent rules are then ignored. Let's take a sample configuration. Let's say you have three conditions basis which you want to rate limit your users. The first one is that a user and a model combination should only incur less than 5 requests per minute. That means if a user is using one model, they can only give 5 requests to that model, but in the same minute, they can give 5 additional requests to some other model. So at a model and a user level, less than equal to 5 requests per minute. The second condition is that a user from a demo team should give at max 2 requests per minute. And finally, if requests are coming to the model Mixtral 8 cross 22 billion, the maximum request should be 1 request per minute across any user in your organization. Now let's see how will we implement this with the platform. So this is how your UI would look like. You need to navigate to AI Gateway and under their configs, and the first config listed is the rate limiting. Now firstly, let's verify that there is no by default rate limiting applied. So I'll take a few questions which are very simple, and I'll give it 6 prompts to make sure that there are no limits on 5 requests per minute by default, and then we will see how the rate limiting actually changes that. Alright, so you can see that the 6th prompt has also been answered, and this is within a minute obviously. Now let's add the config. So the rule that I will list is user and model limit usage. This is the rule ID, and what this means is that it will dynamically take the user and the model. So for every user and every model, this combination, we will be able to limit the usage dynamically. The limit value is set to 5, and you will see that we can do it per 6 time units, and we'll use a request per minute. And we do not need to enter any subjects. Subjects can be users, teams, or even virtual accounts. So we do not need to mention those here. We can also do it at a model level. We'll not be doing that in this rule. And any custom metadata. This is useful if you're doing it for your own customers, the details of which you have added in your request headers. All right, so let's go ahead and save the rules. And you will also be able to see the updated rules here. Now let's navigate to the playground. Let's clear the session and let's try again. Alright, now the moment of truth. And you will see that the rate limit error has come. Alright, so this is what we wanted. Now let's go ahead and put the second rate limit. Now this is for a specific team, so I'll call it demo team limit usage. Note that there is nothing dynamic here. What this means is that anyone from the demo team can only send 2 requests per minute to any model out there, right? For example, if I'm sending a request to Mixtral and I'm sending a request to GPT-4, I cannot send a request to any other model within a minute. So the limit value is 2 requests per minute. And in subjects, I'll just add the name of the team, which is demo team, across all models. So let me add this rule. And by the way, I'm also included in the demo team, so this should fail for me. Let me clear this and let's try again. Well, why did it not work? I was still able to send 5 requests, so it seems that the second config was not taken into account. Now you would remember what I mentioned is that the first rule, when it is satisfied, is the only one which is taken up and the following rules are ignored. So what we need to do is we need to change the order here. So let me put this down and let me put this more restrictive rate limit on the top and let's save it. And let's try again. And you will see that the rate limit error has come up, which is exactly what we needed. Now finally, let's add the last one, which is that if the model is a specific model, which is mixtural in our case, then it should limit to 1 request per minute. And I'll just add mixtural, and this is our model, and let me just save it. But is this right? No. We need to change the order, so this should come on the top. Alright, now let's take a look. And you will see that this has failed, which is exactly what we wanted. Perfect. So you were able to implement such a powerful feature just using the UI. But what if you are a developer and you want to implement this in your application code? Let's go back to our configs and let's edit some rules. So you will be able to see that you can edit these as YAML, and there is a detailed documentation on how do you integrate this YAML with your code. So feel free to check the documentation out for this. But just know that you can make certain UI configs changes here and you will be able to see the respective YAML file here, which you just need to download and accordingly integrate into your code. Alright, so we have understood what rate limiting is, why it is necessary, and how it is implemented within the TrueFoundry AI gateway, both with the UI and how would you use the YAML to integrate it within your application code via the CLI route. Thank you for watching.